In this video, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful and stylish trouser with ruffles towards the end. If this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. So guys, without wasting much time, let's get right into this tutorial. So guys, I have 3 yards of my Mikado fabric here, but I think I used about 2.5 yards for that trouser. So depending on your size, you may need about 2.5 to 3 yards. These are the measurements I wrote down, though I don't need some of this measurements, and I will show you the ones I don't need. But these are the measurements I'll be using. So for the measurement I don't need all this, the knee length, the knee circumference, and the thigh circumference. But these other measurements are the ones I used. I think the one that is not here is just the hip length. So guys, this is my starting line, and on this starting line I will be measuring half inch again. You know, we are cutting directly on the fabric, so we need to add all the sewing allowance to this. So I'm adding half inch for the joining of the waist to the band. So this trouser will have a band. So guys, I'll be placing my tape 1.5 inches away from the second line. This second line, so I'll be placing the tape 1.5 inch from that point downward to measure the length of the trouser. So for my trouser length, I'm working with 40 inches length, but the ruffles I want to add will be 10 inches, so I'm using 31 inches. So I'll be using 1 inch towards the end for the joining. You can add half inch at this point, but I decided to add 1 inch here. So the length with the band is 30 inches for the straight part of this trouser, while the ruffles will be 10 inches. The 10 inches will still be, it will be longer than that. Please just keep watching so that you can get every details of this trouser. So the next thing I will measure now is my crotch line. So my crotch line is 10 inches. My hip line is about 9 inches. It's about 8.75 or 8.5. I'm not sure now. But the crotch line, which is the important one, is 10 inches. So that's the line there. So this line now is my hip line. So the next thing I want to measure now is, first of all, I want to measure 1 inch here. Then I will measure my hip measurement divided by 4. My hip is 40, so 40 divided by 4 is 10. So the 40 inches again divided by 16. Then I'm adding his allowance. The way I measure this is not the right way. I will still correct it. Then another 1 inch. After measuring my 40 divided by my hip divided by 4, I should add the his allowance immediately before the crotch extension. So this is the point now. So as you can see that I went 1 inch inward. So this is the hip divided by 4. This is the extension, and this line here, so it's not supposed to be there. So that 1 inch that I took after the crotch extension before, I've taken it after. So that's why I extended this line upward. So this line extended upward is my hip divided by 4. But firstly, I measured 1 inch for the sewing allowance at the side. Then I measured my hip divided by 4. Then I added 1 inch for his allowance. So that's the line I measured upward. So at this waist area, I just took in half inch at this point. So what I'm doing now is to add half inch at this area for the crotch joining before I forget. So add half inch again here. So guys, after doing that, at the waist area, we'll measure our waist divided by 4. You know the waist is fitted. So waist divided by 4, you add your dart allowance if you want to add that. Then you add your sewing allowance of 1 inch. You know I added 1 inch at the crotch and hip area too. So I added the 1 inch there. Then you connect your waist to your hip. So guys, before I folded this fabric, if you notice, you will see that this fabric is exactly what I needed. I already made the calculation before folding. so I don't have to be adjusting the fabric. So whatsoever I have here, I just divided the midpoint, and I have 16 inches there. So the midpoint is 8. So I just keep transferring the 8 inches up to this line downward, that 30 inches line. So guys, because this is like a straight trouser, so I'll just be marking the line downward. Just extend this point downward. I'm not removing anything. I'm not adding anything. So that was why I said we don't need our thigh measurement and our knee circumference, because we are just connecting it straight down. So now for my dart, I'll measure my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 plus half inch to locate that point for the dart. So that's the point for the dart, and my dart length will be about, I think, 5 inches. Then I will take half inch to the right, half inch to the left, just for the dart. So this is the dart point. Now I'll go ahead and cut this out. After cutting, I'll go ahead and notch this point just to transfer the dart to the back, to the other side of this fabric. So now for the back, I folded my fabric, and the way I folded it, I made sure it is about 1 inch wider than the front that I cut before. So it's 1 inch wider, as you can see. So, and I'm placing this about 2 inches away from this point because I want to add 2 inches at this point here. The 2 inches I'm adding is just for the butt area so that it can give allowance for the butt. So this is 2 inches. But after measuring these 2 inches upward, I went inward again by 1.5 inch. From this point here, so I just went inward by 2 inches. That point is aligning with the front, with the center front, is aligning with the center front. So now the next thing I did was to measure my waist and everything I have at this waist at the front. So that's what I will also have at the back. But for the back, I will not be measuring it straight. You know, we have to slant this line. So let me slant the line first before I now take the measurements. So whatsoever you have at the waist at the front, the first one you cut, just transfer it to the back. So I'm trying to have a straight line here. So now as you can see where this is getting to for the back. So I will blend in this point here to the hip area. So this is what the side looks like. So at this part here, I'll just extend it by 1 inch. I will extend that part by 1 inch, then I will redraw the crouch for the back. So now since I know the starting point and the end point, so I'll just place my curved ruler like this and I will reshape. If you notice, I'm not using this other curved ruler because this one does the job very well for me. So it captures the point easily compared to this other one. So that's the new crotch for the back. But what I want to do now, I already have half inch for the crotch joining for the back, but I want to increase it to 1 inch. So I'll just add extra half inch. So the half inch there before plus the new half inch I'm adding. So I will have 1 inch at the back. Do you understand? You know, for the front we already added half inch and we are using the measurement of the front for the back. So the back already has half inch if I don't add this extra half inch, but I want it to be 1 inch. So that's why I'm adding another half inch. So that will make it 1 inch for the joining at the crotch area for the back. So let's locate our dart for the back. So I will measure the 1 inch away, then I'll measure my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half inch just to locate the point, and this is where it is. So that's where my dart will be. So now we've cut out the the straight part of this trouser. Yes, so now it's time to fix the pocket. So this is the fabric I'll be using for the pocket, but let me reduce this. This is too, it is too long, so I'll be using 12 inches. For the height, I'm using 12 inches, and for the width of this unfold, it is 9 inches, but like this it is 18. So you can cut 18 by 12, but when you fold it like this, you have 9 by 12. So that's what I want to use. Then I'll go ahead and just cut this, because what I have here is about 14 inches. So I'll go ahead and trim this off. Please, I will advise you note you notch the center of this pocket, like those center, notch it before you cut the pocket. I made a mistake here. So the first thing you should actually do is to trim the side of this trouser. You know, it is not straight upward. So the first thing I should have done was to trim the waist on both sides of this pocket. Like when it was folded, I would trim the waist at both sides before I now cut the pocket. But I did not trim the waist, which I later find out when I was joining, and I did later. But when you want to fix this pocket, please trim the waist, fold this fabric together, trim out the waist on both sides before you now start shaping for your pocket. And for the shaping of this pocket, I went in by 2 inches at the waistline, and for the height of the pocket, I used 7 inches. So you should trim out this excess. You see this excess we have at the pocket, it should be trimmed out on both sides of this pocket before you now trim this out on one side of this pocket. So this fabric should be on fold. You trim the waist of the trouser before you now open it up and now trim the pocket on one of the sides. I hope you understand. If you don't understand, let me know in the comment section, and I'll show you a video where I did the correct thing. So now the pocket is sorted out. The next thing we'll do now is to join the crotch and make the dart. So I already fixed one of this pocket, and if you notice that this waist area is more, is not, you know, the pattern we cut out for this trouser is not as straight as this at the waist area. So that was what I was saying, that I should have cut this out before the pocket thing. So now to join the pocket, this is how you replace it. Right side facing each other, you join it with half inch. So this is the band for the trouser, and for this band I will add my ST and I will fold it. So this is the other pocket after joining. So as you can see that this part is now smaller, so I've went ahead to trim it away. So this is what it now looks like. So now for the band of this trouser, I'll fix the band. This is how I want to fix my own band. So I'll just place this in between, and I will sew with half inch. I will sew with quarter inch, just very close to the tip of the band. For the back, what I will do now is to join the crotch area, but you know we are adding the zipper to the back, so we have to leave that allowance. So what I did was to leave about, I think, 7 inches on this. You know we still have band of 1.5, so I think I left about 8 inches, rather 8 inches here. So the joining will start from that 8 inches point with 1 inch downward, just like that. And I will also go ahead and make my darts, and I will also fix the band, since I fixed the band for the front. Guys, this is the outcome of the back. I've also went ahead to weave the edge. You know, Mikado can be very funny, so I already weaved the edge. So now this is the front also after fixing the band, and this is what it looks like. The next thing I will do now is to join them together by the side alone, not at the crotch area, please, because we are still fixing the ruffles at that side. So I will join this together by the sides alone first. For the ruffles towards the end of this trouser, so this is the fabric I'm cutting out. This fabric is 14 inches. 14 inches. I'll be hemming up and down with 1 inch, but after hemming with 1 inch, I will leave about 2.5 inches before making the ruffles. You will understand this as we continue. So I measured 3.5 inches upward here because I will hem that upper part with 1 inch. So I'll be left with 2.5, and I will hem this part too with 1 inch. So I'll be left with 10 inches. So after hemming and all, I will have 12.5, but the joining will start from 2.5 inches. And for the wideness of this fabric, this is times 2.5 inches of the wideness of my trouser at that area. So it's 2 times 2.5. So let's say you have 30, your roundness is 30, so 30 times 2.5, that's about 75 inches. So this is what I did. So I made like a kissing plate to the exact opening of my trouser, and like I said, this pleat is made 2.5 inches away from the top. So this is the trouser after joining the side together and weaving it. So I will go ahead now and fix the ruffles to the end. So this part here that will be fixing the ruffles to. And like I if you follow me from the beginning, I added 1 inch for the joining allowance. So I'll be sewing this 1 inch away from the trouser. So I'll just be sewing on the same line where I made the kissing pleats. I'll just sew on the line, but it will be 1 inch away from this trouser. Then I'll go ahead and pin this down. Yes. So this was the part I measured, and the ruffles I cut out, like I said, was times 2.5. So make sure you pin it at the right side. After sewing this is what I have. So I make sure I sew on the same line again so that I don't have a double line there. So after sewing, I will now go ahead and join the crotch area of this trouser, and I'll also fix my zipper. After joining, guys, this is what I have. My trouser is ready, and I already ironed this. So this is what the trouser looks like, and for the zipper, I already fixed my zipper. So this is the trouser, and it came out very beautiful and very fine. And this is what the trouser looks like on my mannequin. So this is what it looks like. If you are still watching up to this point, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to comment, share, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in my next video. Bye.